Welcome to Release to Results, where every week we have a day where we spend time reading the Sedona Method and doing the letting go procedures in this book. Today we're in Relationship Magic, chapter 17, and we're going to do the advantages, disadvantages process together. So begin by focusing on a current relationship, a past relationship, or on having the ideal relationship. And you can pick anyone. Who would you like to improve a relationship with? Do you have somebody? So, focusing on that relationship with that person, what is the advantage to you in this relationship? What is the advantage to you in this relationship? Just allowing anything to come to mind. And underneath, is there a sense of wanting approval, control, or security? Could you allow that sense, that feeling of wanting to come up? Could you feel it more? And could you let it go? Could you set that wanting free? And in this relationship, what's a disadvantage to you? What's a disadvantage to you in this relationship? What does it seem like? Allowing anything to come to mind. And is there a sense of wanting, maybe approval, control, or security? And whatever's there, could you allow it? Notice it, maybe even welcome it. And could you let it go? Could you set it free? And what is the advantage to you in having this relationship? Be the way that it is. Is there any advantage to you in having this relationship be the way that it is? And Does that stir up any wanting approval, control, or security? Could you allow whatever stirred up, any energy, any feeling, any wanting, just to be there? Feel it, notice it. And could you just let it go? Would you just let it go if you could? And what's a disadvantage to you in having the relationship be this way? Allowing anything to come up. In the relationship the way it is, what's a disadvantage to you? And could you notice any wanting approval, control, or security behind this disadvantage that seems to be there? Could you allow any wanting that stirred for you to be noticed, felt, acknowledged? Could you simply release it? Would you simply release it? And could you continue focusing on that relationship? Whether it's the past relationship, the current relationship, the ideal relationship, could you focus on it? And could you ask yourself, what is the advantage to me in this relationship? What's the advantage to me in this relationship? And underneath or behind that, is there any sense of wanting, maybe wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting security? Could be a mix. Could you notice one in particular? And allow that wanting. Could you let that want be there, run, without trying to change it or make it different? Just feel that wanting or whatever you're feeling. And could you release it? Would you release it? And what's a disadvantage of this relationship? This relationship, what's a disadvantage? It's noticing whatever the mind pops out. And is there any sense of wanting, maybe wanting security, wanting control, or wanting approval? Could you welcome that wanting or just notice it? And could you surrender it? Give it up. Might stay, it might go. Just could you surrender it? Just could you give it up? You never have to. And the relationship, the way it seems to be right now, what's the advantage to that? What's a benefit to having the relationship be this way? And is there any stirring of wanting approval, control, or security behind that benefit? Could you allow that energy to stir what that feels like, that wanting? And could you surrender it, turn it over, and yes or no is fine. Your choice. And the relationship being this way, is there any detriment or disadvantage to this relationship being the way it is or seems to be? What's a disadvantage to you having the relationship be this way? And does that bring up any wanting approval, wanting security, wanting control, any wanting? Could you notice that energy, that feeling, that wanting, or whatever you're feeling? It's okay not to label it. And could you just let it go? Just for now, could you let it go? Would you let it go if you could? And just focusing on the current relationship, past relationship, or ideal relationship with whoever it is, could you ask yourself, what is the advantage to you in this relationship? What's the perks in this relationship? And underneath that, is there any sense of wanting approval, control, or security? Any wanting? And could you embrace that wanting or just be present with it? And could you set that free? Let go of that energy. And what's a disadvantage to you, a bummer in this relationship? Could you allow the mind to produce an explanation of a disadvantage to you in this relationship? And underneath that, is there any sense of wanting approval, control, or security? And whichever want or whatever feeling is there, could you allow it? Could you feel it? Maybe even embrace it. And could you allow it to go free? Set it free, that energy. Would you set it free if you could? Let it go. No rush. Yes or no is fine. And the relationship seems to be this way. What's an advantage to the relationship being this way? What does it seem like? An advantages to you in having the relationship be this way? And without judging or moralizing what's coming up, could you just notice it and see if there's any wanting approval, control, or security that's come up? Is there any wanting? And could you let it up? Allow it, notice it, feel it. Could you feel that wanting or whatever you're feeling more? And could you drop it like a weight, let it go? Would you allow yourself to drop the weight of that energy? And what's a disadvantage to you in having the relationship be like this? Is there a downside to the relationship being this way? A disadvantage? What is it? And could you notice any wanting that's stirred up? Any wanting security, wanting control, or wanting approval? Could you let that be there? Just surrender into that wanting, that energy that seems to be there behind this disadvantage. Could you open up and let that energy, that wanting, that feeling do what it does without trying to change it or explain it? And could you let it release? Would you let it release if you could? So, as you go through this process, and it's recommended to go through it more when you have a chance, you'll find at first there's obvious answers, the obvious advantages and disadvantages. As you go deeper, there'll be new insights, more will come up. And as you continue to release on everything that comes up, you have the power to transform any area of a relationship where you're feeling stuck or would like to experience more freedom. So feel free to go through this as many times as you like.